Well, hey, welcome everybody to another Tech Tip Tuesday. Today is June 20th already. Wow. My name is Ken Close. I will be your host, and I am joined by an amazing head of operations, Jake Barron. Hi, Jake.
Hey, Ken. Hello, everybody.
Thanks for being here. And we have in our background, our customer service tonight. Our agent is it Henry tonight?
Yes, we got
Hey,
Henry helping out tonight.
Tell Henry, hello, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome, guys. If you guys have not been to Tech Tip Tuesday before, well, hopefully you're in for a treat, because our goal here is to take all of the questions that you have and answer them. So here's how it works. This is a chat-based forum. Come in, put your question in the chat, and Jake and I, and then of course Henry in the background, will bring them up, and we will solve those for you guys, or do our very best to solve those for you guys. What we can't do is we can't treat, prevent, or diagnose any kind of issue with the bodies. We've got some great tools within Healy to do that, but that's not us. We're not doctors. We might be solution makers, but we're not solving those kind of mysteries. So hopefully that makes sense for everybody. Jake, you ready to get going?
I think we should get started.
All right, let's get started, everybody. Let's see some questions in there. And of course, you know us. If you don't put questions in there, we're going to start talking about some theory probably. Let's see. I see some welcomes in there. I like that. Thank you, guys. And I see some familiar faces, some familiar names here. Not faces, you guys are in the background, but I see some familiar names. Thanks for being here. Let's see. So Dixie has a question here right out of the chute. Says, is the type bigger in the new Healy Analyse? The beta font is very hard to read. Also, any other changes? So the beta is still the testing model. We won't see the actual one come out just yet, but there's going to be some training on that. The suggestions that everybody's making is good suggestions. And even within the beta, remember, there are some portals to make some suggestions. Jake, do you have any insight on the font size?
Well, I mean, that wouldn't be something that you could adjust within the app itself, I would say. I know a lot of people change the actual overall just font size of how their phone appears, in general for everything on the phone itself. But as far as I understand, changing or allowing that option within the app itself as a feature, I don't think is one of the things that's planned at this time, at least. Possible, in the future if there's, enough feedback for that type of thing. But, it's been in beta testing for a while now, and as it is released, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of frequent updates too. Just like with the Healy 2 app, it was updated. It seemed like every couple of weeks there was some sort of new improvement or tweak or feature added in there too. So I would expect something similar with this app as well, even after the final version comes out, because certain things will be added or thought of, and new features added in the future too. So this is a whole new app platform, which gives us lot more possibilities for features and other modules and things like that going forward. So there'll be certainly a lot more options for us.
Yeah, I think, again, the more people that actually put in feedback, like any other product developer, that feedback, because what's Healy doing? Healy is taking care of you, right? He's taking care of us. And so whatever it is that we're looking for in the field is what Healy's wanting to provide. So let's definitely make sure that we put those in into the suggestion box. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a question. What is the difference between relevance and intensity on the Blue app? So again, we're talking about the Heal Advisor Analyse, this is the side of Healy that does the analytics from the information field. basically from a quantum perspective of the client, aka you. And so the big difference between relevance and intensity. So relevance is how it's influencing your life, how it's influencing your life. In what way is the being of you being swayed by this content of the scan? Whatever the scan reveals, there's some content there it's revealing. So how are you as a body in space and time being influenced by this analysis or by this particular item? The intensity is to what degree it's being influencing you. So on a scale of 1 to 10, to what degree, how intense is this in your life? Some people are working on specific things within their life. So in other words, I think that there's a knowing within each of us that that something's maybe out of balance. Maybe something's just misaligned. We may not be able to put our finger on it, but we know it's misaligned. And what happens is the subconscious starts to go to work to fix that, right? To align that. And it will steer you to maybe a book, right? Or an event or some kind of training module, or even a counselor or a coach or whatever, or to Healy, right? And that work that you do on yourself starts to down-regulate the intensity of whatever this issue is. And so intensities at a 1, 2, 3, or 4, because those are numbers on the when you get a scan, there's some content there that gives you that intensity number. So that information can be, we're already probably working on some of that stuff. If the intensity is a 10, we probably have no idea. I mean, we're not working on it at all, and it's highly impacting our lives, whatever that revelation is. So hopefully that makes sense. So the difference, relevancy is how relevant it is within your life, and intensity is how essentially how much the amplitude in which it's impacting your life.
Yeah, Ken, it's actually, this is a great question, and one of the reasons why in the new Analyse 2 app, we have these new, when you're looking at the results, the current Analyse app, you see the relevance and the intensity, but there's nothing that you can click on to sort of tell you more. In the new Analyse 2 app, one of the great features is as you're kind of going along, there's all these different areas that you can click, these little info boxes. Okay, you click on this and okay, oh, that's what that means. So we'll be talking about this a lot more, over the next couple of weeks. And I think we'll just highlight some of these little things just in general on Healy for Beginners and Beyond coming up this week. But just wanted to show this one thing real quick. As you mentioned intensity and the relevance. These are pop-ups from within the Analyse 2 app. And as Ken mentioned, it tells you what is the intensity parameter, the readiness to be confronted with a topic analyzed in the information field. The higher intensity, the more obvious the issue for the person being analyzed, and the greater their willingness to take action and relevance. Similar type description. The higher the relevance, the greater the importance for the moment of analysis. So it's great, because the app is so powerful and it can do so many things. We want it to be as easy as possible. So when these questions pop up, you can answer them right away by clicking on something rather than waiting for Tech Tip Tuesday or having to reference something in the app manual itself. It's just trying to put all that information right out there in front for everybody. So again, one of my favorite features of the new app is how it kind of guides you along as well.
Yeah, it's so powerful how we've got, these little sections are expandable like that. So
yeah.
Let's see. And Izzy is saying to follow up on Dixie's question, with even more contrast would help between. She's talking about the font again within that app. So again, put these comments within the app, within this beta system, so that we can that developers can put that into the design. Okay. Now also remember our smart device, right? The smart device itself, you can adjust the the presentation. So you can actually make that bigger, zoom mode, right? You can increase that. So give that a play. All right, let's see. Is this a question? Okay, so Lindley says, Ken, I remember you recommending we use a power bank to charge our Healy overnight. To charge my Healys, iPhones, and an iPad, would I need 20,000 milliamps or would I need 30,000? So milliamps, by the way, milliamps is millionths of an amp. Okay. So 1 amp is 1,000 milliamps. Okay. That's about the minimum size that you would use for charging your Healy, right? But you can use up to 3,500 or 3.5 amps, 3.5 amps or 3,500 milliamps. You can use up to that, right? So the cool thing about Healy is that the hardware itself, it has a smart charger in it. It's kind of, whatever power you place into it, it's going to raise the battery up to a certain level kind of quickly, and then it's going to slowly bring it all the way up to full. So depending on the milliamp of charger you're plugged into, and all these chargers, these little adapters that plug into the wall, right? And then you put your USB cord into, they typically have a little info plate on them. They'll tell you the voltage output and the current output or amp output. And that's where it'll say 1,000 MA, which is milliamps, or it'll say 1A, which is 1 amp. Okay. And that's where you would, the higher the number, the 3.5 amps versus 1 amp, the higher the number, the quicker the charge for Healy. So the higher, the better. Now, what you wrote in there was 20,000. That's too high. It would be 2,000 milliamps or 3,000 milliamps. Yes, those are good.
Yeah, I think since they're trying to charge everything, so not just their Healys, their iPhone and their iPad, and each one of those devices, requires a certain amount of power. So if your iPad's fully depleted and your iPhone and I don't know how many Healys you have, but yeah, you would, if you want something, because usually when you're buying these power banks and stuff, it'll tell you it can recharge an iPhone 2.7 times or an iPad 1.3 times, and that kind of thing too. So
if it's a power bank, if it's a battery, you've got these portable battery systems. These can be fairly big, but their outputs are limited in terms of how much current they're actually placing to one particular port in the battery, right? And that's on purpose. And then if you're a plug-in type of power bank, again, same scenario. There's some fairly sophisticated electronics within these power banks that regulate the output to each USB port. And those specs are on the device. They'll be on the device to tell you what the max output of each port is, no matter how many things you have plugged in. So just keep in mind the parameters I just gave you. The higher the output of milliamps or amps, the quicker the charge on your Healy. Average charge time for a Healy is 90 minutes. That's just average. That's with a 2 amp charger, something like that. So, all right. So Henry's put some good stuff in there, guys. By the way, the links and stuff that Henry puts in there and the content, if you guys want to save this, I highly recommend you save the chat to your computer. If you're on your computer, you can do this. At the bottom of the screen, below where you would type in your chat content, there's 3 little dots. Click on that. That's for more. Expands out a menu, and there's a spot where it says save chat. At the end of our call, you'll get a notice on your screen to save your chat somewhere on your computer, and you'll have all these links right there for you. Okay. And by the way, you can share those links with other people, all kinds of stuff. All right. So Pamela says, I had a credit for a replacement Healy and I did not have the money to purchase at the time. However, let's see. How do I go about replacing this now? In other words, you probably got an RA when you say a credit. If you requested a replacement Healy device because of a warranty issue, Healy will send you a return authorization, and that has an expiration date, right? There's a certain amount of time in which you've got to print the label, put it on the device, and send it back. If that expired, you're going to have to start over. Yeah, that's just it. It's pretty. Anything else you want to add to that, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, really, probably what, yeah, like you said, it was probably determined that the device maybe was out of warranty, but you could go through the fee replacement process where you pay the $365. And then we send you the new Healy, brand new Healy with a new 2-year warranty. If you weren't didn't have the money to do that at the time, it didn't expire. It's still the same thing. You just have to confirm again with and I know Henry put that into the chat here to go ahead and submit a new support ticket, and they'll walk you through the whole process again and send you the details and explain how to pay for it through our shop, which then deactivates the device that's being replaced, and then you purchase the new one, and the new one gets shipped out. In a couple of days, you'll have it at your doorstep, brand new Healy, 2-year warranty, and lots of happiness ahead. So.
And it's a new version. If you have the old casing versus the new casing style, I like that new clip. It's nice. It's pretty rugged. Yeah. So, whether it be a warranty thing or a purchase thing, if something expired, and as Henry said in the background, this a new support ticket, and you can get her going again. All right. Awesome. So let's see. Here's another question on the Healy 2 Pink app. I was watching the frequencies change every 10 seconds, and sometimes there was percentages showing. So sometimes the frequency didn't change, but the percentage went to a negative percentage. Does Healy stay on that frequency until the percentage reaches 100%? And this is a great little analogy, a great question, because what you're seeing on the screen is this cool interactive process between Healy, the quantum sensor in which it's looking at the resonance of your body, and then the application of the frequencies and a feedback loop. It's called progress. So when Healy first begins the cycle of running a microcurrent program, the first 8 or 9 minutes, or maybe it's even less, depends on the program's overall length. But the first phase is to find the resonance of you and choose very specific frequencies within the program's purpose, right? For your resonance of your body. It's for your body. So in other words, if Jake and I ran the same program, we hit the start button at the same time, and we were sitting there watching the screens simultaneously side by side, the frequencies that Healy chooses for me versus for Jake may be a little bit different, even though it's the same program purpose, right? Because we're different bodies. And so the first section is finding out the exact frequencies that match you. And then, and that's again for the purpose of the program, and then starts to apply those. Once it starts applying those for a certain period of time, then it starts to find and read the resonance of your body with that one frequency at a time. And so every 10 seconds, as you observe, Healy is applying a new frequency, right? And then it starts the analysis process to give you a progress report on that one frequency, okay? Progress is measured on a scale from negative 99% to positive 99%. Negative 99% doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means you really need that frequency, right? And it takes a while. It needs to apply that for a longer period of time. And so bring your body up to 90, actually 98.
And you could even look at that negative 99% as a good thing, because it identifies something you really need and
Right.
you're going to get it. So
right. Yeah, you really need that. And it's like, okay, just let it roll, right? Let it roll. Don't make it bad. Don't make it anything about a negative thing. Just go, let it roll. And don't expect also for it to go to 100% in the first program or in the first run, right? Maybe you have to run that program more than once. Every one of those frequencies may not reach 100% by the time it's over. That's okay. It's just moving the needle, right? It's moving the needle of you and your body to a higher point from where it was. So, so that's it. And then once that progress report gets to that, well, you actually gets to 98%. You won't ever see 100%, because by the time it hits the 98 and it goes around the routine of the other frequencies before it gets back to that frequency again, it's probably kicked it out. When you reach that 98%, it kicks that frequency out of the sequence. Healy doesn't give you what you don't need. Once you're full, the cup is full, right? The body is done with that frequency. It's fully resonating with that frequency. It doesn't need it anymore. And so this dynamic active system of Healy just moves on, right? It just goes on in the next frequency. If somehow you've reached that 98% within all of the frequencies that Healy has chosen for you, the program could end before that timed interval that says, max duration of the program. The reason it says max duration of the program is that's the longest it will run. It's not the minimum, but it is the longest. Right? Okay. Anything else you want to add to that, Jake?
No, that's one of the cool things to with the Healy and watching it run as you're kind of cycling through those frequencies to see that percentage go from -99 to maybe -72 to, as it kind of works its way up there, kind of seeing that progress. And, there are, again, we always like to reference and direct people back to the Healy Academy. There's some great videos in Healy Academy in the Healy app section that explain how the Healy programs work too. So.
Yeah, there's a great section. It shows you section, because Healy, the application of the programs is sectioned out in terms of purpose, right? And what they are doing within those sections and how that works. That's super great stuff. I mean, the interactivity of Healy amazes me because it's looking at your body, seeking very specific alignments with it, and then applying frequencies based on its interactive understanding of you. I mean, it's like, wow, science. Once upon a time, many things were thought to be science fiction, right? And now it's just science. Okay.
Yeah, so we have a success story here from within the call. Henry put in a note here in the chat about the display size or the font size within the Analyse 2 app. He put it in the chat here to go to the actual phone settings to adjust the text and display size. We kind of mentioned that a little bit earlier too, as a possibility, and Dixie tried that and it worked. So great, Yeah, that's it. The way you do that is kind of different on each phone. It was actually where you go to adjust that, but usually it's in some sort of general display section or appearance or something like that within your phone settings.
Yeah. So understanding your device, your smart device, is super useful. I get a lot of questions often around things that are actually related to the smart device, not Healy. And people are thinking the Healy's failing, and yet it's not. So great. I love those success stories. And Lindley comes back to ask about, would I damage the Healy if I used a portable power bank of 20,000 milliamps? Okay. So remember, each port, so the whole power bank may be 20,000 milliamps, like it's a portable battery pack system. But each one of those USB ports has a limited amount. So just take a look at what the output of each one of those individual ports are. And that'll tell you what's going to be available at that particular, at whatever you plug in there. 20,000 milliamps would be too much for Healy. Yes, too much. But that one port doesn't put out that much. I'm pretty sure. Look at the specs of your device.
Yeah, I mean, in general, those power banks, they might store a lot of power and can be used to recharge your Healy, could be 10, 20 times or more. but
Right.
it's going to charge it slower than plugging it into a wall outlet or something like that.
Well, just take a look at the output. The key thing is, what
Yeah.
does it say there at that USB port? It's always going to be 5 volts, by the way, folks. It's always 5 volts. That's a constant. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus, right? So that means it's universal everywhere, the entire world. Okay, 5 volts DC, 5 volts DC. But that's the voltage. That's essentially what's called the potential. That's what the bucket of resource is. The flow of that resource, the flow, like how fast you're pouring that resource out of the bucket, is called the amps, the flow of energy. And the flow of energy, or flow of current in terms of amps, is that, 1,000 milliamps or 2,000 milliamps or whatever. Okay. That 20,000 milliamps is the available flow. If you had that unit being drained 100% by every output, then it could put out 20,000 milliamps. Doesn't mean it is. Okay.
So, okay, I don't know about you, but I think a portable power bank like this should be part of everybody's sort of emergency supply or emergency kit, because if the power goes out, you can't be without your Healy device. You want to be able to recharge that Healy many times. So it's something that's big enough to recharge your phone so you can continue to use the app and recharge your Healy device. I think it's a requirement.
I agree, and they're very inexpensive. I have
Yeah.
2 portable battery systems. They're about the same size as my smartphone,
Mhm.
about the same size, and I want to say they're 4,000 milliamps, so like 4 amps. So in other words, it could charge my phone 3 times. It can charge my Healy multiple times, but they're small enough that I can carry them in my carry-on bags when I fly. I have them out in the rural areas, or even in the woods when I'm out camping or somewhere. I have the ability to charge my Healy, even if I have no power to plug into. So I agree. It's a great idea to have, everybody. I think, Jake, as a swag, it should be some made with Healy logos on them. Come
Yeah,
on.
maybe we can do something like that.
How about that? In the back office,
Yeah.
maybe you can have a Healy battery pack.
Yeah.
Or how about we earn them in some way? All right.
Okay, there you
All
go.
right. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so let's see. Gordon says, I just received my animal kit. In reading the 5 steps to start, step 1 showed 2 moisturized pads, foam pads. However, the kit only shows 1 set of applicators units, which is picture number 3, shown on a small pup with 2 dots. So yeah, there's these animals and these dots and shows. Okay. So let's see. Kind of going through the how-tos. I'm getting to the question. Is there any reason I can't use my current applicable apps, examples, spine, pancreas? I'm assuming you're talking about using the other Healy programs on the animal with the animal kit, right? Yes, you can. Yes, there's no reason. So again, the animal kit and the animal module comes with very specific programs for the animal, right? However, the other programs that Healy has within the other modalities, say the chakras or the learning or the fitness or the other different pages, could be applied to the animal. Use your discretion as to what you're trying to accomplish. So again, pancreas, organs, things like that. What Healy's going to try to do based on the program you choose is find resonance with that host. When I say host, you know what I'm talking about, right? That animal, whatever you're attaching the Healy to. You attach the Healy to an animal, you attach the Healy to a human. It's going to find resonance with that host and then start assigning frequencies to align it. So it doesn't matter what the program is, it's going to still do that modality. Anything you want to add there, Jake?
No, yeah, I mean, it's the program, the specific programs for animals, of course, are excellent, but there's other uses beyond that. And actually, there's coming up in the next month and a half or so, 2 months, you're going to be hearing a lot more about the animal kit and new materials, instructions, videos to go along with it as well. So, where we got a lot more things planned to make it a little bit easier to use that animal kit and be clear on how exactly and where to use certain things and the benefits too. So that doesn't help you right now, but just know we are going to have some great new tools coming out in the near future.
Yeah. And you know, those, like I said, those programs in the animal module are unique to the animal. You could use them on you, but I mean, I don't know, the flea program would be much, I don't know. I mean, you can use, they're designed for the animal, right? Okay. So here's, thank you for the comment. I love this science. Thank you for the explanation of the Healy 2. Aki says, thank you. That's great. Thank you for the comments. I love that. Oh, and here's a affirmation of the power bank. A Healy power bank would be great to purchase. There you go. There's another vote. Another vote for the Healy power bank with the Healy logo on it, right? Isn't that great to show your colors?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question here from Aki. Says, can the animal kits also be used for large animals such as horses? Yes, definitely. Izzy on this call can probably provide some feedback related to that. But yeah, there are attachments in there and elastic bands. They are meant for larger animals there too. So we don't, all animals are welcome at the animal kit.
Right. There's no separation here. All the animals, that whole animal kingdom, from the tiny to the large.
Yeah.
The tiny might be a little challenging. Depends on the tiny. Yeah, that's, I like the diversity in which Healy has. So some of the wide range of applications, there really isn't much of a limit when it comes to what we can do. I have also experimented with using the microcurrent and actually attaching it to, I made it simple, kitchen butter knives and putting it in water or in any other conductive gel. Like you could put it into a protein shake, or I'm just saying something that conducts energy. And you put it in there and you can actually run the electron flow through the conductive material. Now, when I say conductive material, there's a lot of conductive material out there that you can run this through, and you can energize that material. Now, of course, the MagHealy does that for water, and through the environment, through magnetic energy, can do that. I want you to understand there's two different modalities that we're talking about here. Healy, when you're connected to your body, you got the wristbands on, right? Like I do. It's running electron flow through my body. Electron flow. These are particles of energy moving from one molecule to another molecule to another molecule through, if you understand molecular science, it's around the outer valence band of the molecule. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep. So this is happening at the speed of light, everyone. It's happening so quickly, you know, moving from the Healy itself through my body back through the Healy. It's beyond our imagination how fast that happens. So this is electron flow, and MagHealy works through magnetic flow. It's an invisible force propagated out into the atmosphere. Different modality, a little different modality, but understand that electron flow, when it is ran through an antenna, becomes a magnetic emission. So I, as this body, am a walking, talking antenna. So stay with me for a second. As we run electron flow through my body, the frequencies through my body from one side to the other through electron flow, like I mentioned, through the Pink Dot app, right? my body becomes a transmitter, aka an antenna, sending that same frequency after my body uses it. The signals, the information is still being transmitted out into magnetic energy. So I'm kind of a transmitter. Now, MagHealy, when it's sending those magnetic frequencies out, when it touches my body, again, remember it's an antenna, it conducts into electron flow into my body and then transmits that information into my body. So these are two modalities in which the same kind of outcome can happen, real similar outcomes. We've talked about this a bit in the past. I've done some talks on this. It's kind of intense. And so, as you said, Sue, Izzy has some comments here. Yes, my horse and some of the calves love it. So I like that.
Yep.
Okay, what else we got? I use, Izzy also says she uses it on a tiny fanny pack around my horse's neck and put the Healy in. That's a great idea. See, you got, I mean, understand that when you put this into the body of the animal, you know, that electron flow from point A to point B is still sending information throughout the entire host. All right. Are we caught up, Jake?
We are caught up. So actually, let's talk a little bit, just a couple minutes here about Healy for Beginners and Beyond on Thursday. Just some of our upcoming events, but we were originally, the plan was to do a deep dive on this next Healy for Beginners and Beyond into the Analyse 2 app. That was originally going to be released on June 15th, but we decided to, the soft launch actually started on June 15th, and the full release will come on the first week of July 3rd. We're going to be doing some trainings, and actually next week there's going to be a global product training in some of the new features of the Analyse 2 app. So we're still going to do a deep dive into the Analyse 2 app, but not till next month. But we didn't want to wait till next month to do our next Healy for Beginners and Beyond. So we're going to do a top 5 essentially. So this is this might change slightly between now and Thursday, but in general, this is what we're going to cover. You know, we're not going to do that deep dive, but we're going to just highlight again some of the cool new features coming in the Analyse 2 app. And then also, some of you that are doing the beta testing, you may have already seen this process where you can migrate your clients from the current Analyse app to the new Analyse 2 app. There's a little pop-up at the top, and we're going to kind of show what that looks like, some screenshots of that, and kind of point out how that works. And then again, another thing coming soon here. This is kind of the what you need to know for the summer. The MagHealy subscription model coming soon. We're going to talk a little about that and how you're going to be able to pick between the different modules, and then how, you know, a little bit how the pricing works, because you get a discount depending on if you have 1, 2, or 3 modules, and then also the length, if you have them for 1 month, 6 months, or 12 months. There's differences there too. And then the Ken, this has come up a lot recently. What'd you say on our tech tip calls? How to charge the devices, whether it's the MagHealy charger or even tonight charging the Healy with a power bank. So we're going to talk a little bit about just in general what you can and cannot do, what to look out for, and kind of troubleshooting any charging issues that you might have. And then key Healy resources you should be using. You know, we on this call, a lot of times we refer people back to the app manuals, because there's a ton of information in there. And especially when you're a new Healy user, you might not want to read through a 47-page manual when you first get started, because you're excited, you just want to charge your device and get started using it. But it's important, as time permits, to kind of refer back to it, because a lot of the questions that we do answer on this call are covered in those app manuals and those instructions for use and things like that. And then finally, you know, the Healy Academy, just as kind of a sneak peek, there's a ton of new content that's going to be coming soon. We'll talk a little bit about that. And, you know, we did a top 10 earlier this year, and I think it went almost an hour and a half long. It was a little bit too ambitious of covering all that in an hour. So we're going to do a top 5, and we'll see if there's some more time at the end. We can talk about some other topics, but join us on that call. For Healy for Beginners and Beyond, you have to register to get the link to attend now. So go to healyfbb.com, and when you register, it'll register you for not only this coming months, the one this week, it'll register you for the next several months as well. So you won't have to do it every single time. You can also just scan the QR code that's shown on the screen here too. That'll take you right to that registration page as well.
So this week,
And
folks.
yeah.
Yep. This week.
Tomorrow is the first day of summer. So this is the summer kickoff.
Summer kickoff for Healy for Beginners and Beyond. Right on. I love it. Okay, hope you guys are taking some notes there about what's happening. Again, it'll be on rehearsed or reminded again on our calls tomorrow. So
Yep.
What's up Wednesday, everybody? What's up Wednesday tomorrow? 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. All right. By the way, folks, if you guys are not sure where to find all of the different resources in terms of calls and presentations, it is in your Healy shop. If you go to the Healy shop and go down to events, there is 2 categories. There is virtual and then there's live. And so under the virtual tab or under that virtual link, you'll see all the calls that are virtual, including Tech Tip Tuesday and Healy for Beginners and Beyond and What's Up Wednesdays. And there's more and more resources are being put out all the time. So it's a good idea to go there, check it out, and see what's coming, right? Mark them on your calendar, write them down. If you're like me, you put them in your smart device and it gives you reminders. All right. There's a question here. Yes. Okay. Where's the registration again? There we go. Jake's got it up there. Okay.
Yep.
Right on. Good job, you guys. Thank you very much for these questions. And Henry's back there just.
Yeah, Henry will be helping us out again on Thursday during Healy for Beginners and Beyond. So well, looking forward to having him on the call again.
I want to get a lot of kudos to the customer support group. You guys are awesome. I remember early on and that they were really, really busy, right? And things have evolved now to a point where a lot of new resources and a lot of help in terms of answering questions, FAQs, all that kind of stuff. So it's really helped a lot. The resources that we have available to us. And then that customer service group has just gotten better and better. So thank you, customer service. Big loves to you guys. All right. Izzy's got a question about the MagHealy. Is it okay to put MagHealy over 3 jars of water at once? Or does that dilute the, just change here, the frequencies if not centered on just 1 jar? So this is a great question because what can the MagHealy do, right? What's its capabilities? So the MagHealy, remember, this is a magnetic field that it generates. It generates a field, a large field, basically, and its effective range, is 3 meters, right? It's, well, is it measured in meters?
Yeah, 3 meters, about 10 feet,
10 feet, whatever.
Yeah.
So that is, it's what's called maximum effective range. That doesn't mean it stops at the edge of that parameter. But again, if you have 3 jars right there, right, that's not that big. So you're going to be affecting that water in that space. Now just think of it this way too. If you've got your little swimming pool out there, right, your little wading pool or whatever, you can actually effectively change the water in that pool. Now, don't drop your MagHealy in the pool. Do not get it wet, folks. It's not made for.
That's not covered under warranty if your MagHealy goes for a swim. So.
No, do not do that. But for drinking water or jars of water, yes, you can influence that. How many of you guys out there do like preserves, right? Fruits and vegetables and that kind of thing. So think about putting frequencies into those preserves. And I would even go as far as doing an experiment. Put frequencies based on some of the atmosphere frequencies in some and not in others, and then give them a test drive later on. There's been so many studies around how frequencies increase the life of any organism, including food. So can you put information into food? Yes. Preserves? Yes. Your favorite jellies and jams? Absolutely. Give it a shot. All right. And there's some more kudos for customer support. Yay. He says, yes, customer support is awesome. Woohoo. All right, take that all in, Henry. Pass it on to your colleagues. Dixie says, thank you too. Yay, pass it on. Spread the love, everybody. All right. Well, there'll be a replay of Healy for Beginners and Beyond in the usual place. Yes. All right. So that's there. And Jake put that link in there. So yes, save that link. By the way, like I said, if you guys want to save this chat, you know how to do it now, right? 3 little dots, bottom of the screen. Click save chat and you're ready to go. And you'll have all these links. And when you save the chat, it's essentially a text document. So you can make it into a PDF. You can print it out. Now, if you print it out, of course, the links are not clickable. I know, no insult to everybody. I'm not saying anything about your technical abilities, but I mean, how do you click on this document link? Okay. So there's a good, interesting question about fasting. How would you use the Healy while fasting? I'll use the MagHealy for the water, and this will be a 72-hour water fast. So one of the things what's the primary purpose of fasting? The most primary purpose is a detox process, right? To remove or give the body an opportunity to stop focusing on digesting from its natural resource, which is the stomach, and allowing the body to eliminate toxic burden. Because here's what happens over time. We are ingesting a plethora of chemicals every day into our body. And when I say ingesting, I'm not talking about you drinking poison. I'm just saying the skin is an absorbing module. When we breathe, we take it in through our lungs, the mucous membranes, we take in content. And so our body, when it doesn't understand a specific genetic code or a structure, then it will try to protect the body from it. And the way it protects the body is by placing it into spaces in which it knows it's trapped. If it can't expel it through the natural excretion process, say, for instance, if we aren't urinating it out or we're sweating it out, or we're getting it out of our body through the natural processes, and this is common because a lot of people are dehydrated, there's a lot of things not happening in the way it should, then what it'll do, the body will then store it. And where it stores it typically and safely is it within the fat tissues or the fat cells in our body. And the more toxic burden that gets in there, the more engorged that can be and the more fluffy we might be. A detox or a fasting process changes the body's fuel from content in the stomach to reserves. And especially 72 hours, it starts to look for energy resources other than what's in the stomach. And the most natural resource is their fats. That's the ketosis that our body goes into. So it starts using fats as energy source, using the contents of that, putting it back into the bloodstream, using it for fuel. And those toxins are in there. So what happens to those toxins? They go right back into your bloodstream. And so when we drink enough water, then we urinate those out. We relieve those from the body through our natural excretion process. So Healy can help us by those detox programs. There are programs such as one within the Gold Cycle page, which is called Release. Release is a good one because what's its purpose? Its purpose is to allow the body to release. Whether it's emotional burdens or toxic burdens, the body's its design is to help you promote release, or AKA promote a detox during fasting processes. Some of the other things too, what happens during a fasting? Sometimes that detox process creates pain in the form of headaches, because when the body releases these toxins, it's a natural process. It's not something you're doing wrong, but this toxic burden that goes through the body's working on releasing it. It can create pain such as stiffness, headaches, that kind of thing. So highly hydrating a lot. And I like your idea of using the MagHealy to infuse frequencies into water that you're ingesting. But you can also use the pain program, right, to help relieve some of this discomfort. Just go through your list and use your intuitive nature to see what makes sense. But remember, you're detoxing. So you want to support the tissues, the organs, the cells, the bladder, by the way, right? The release organs, kidneys is another one to support. All right. Make sense? All right. So Izzy says, yes, awesome. Thank you. No swimming with Healy. No. How long does the frequency stay in the water? We've gotten this question before, right, Jake?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's in general, 12 hours is what you want to use it within. Again, as Ken mentioned before, with the range or the perimeter within 10 feet, it doesn't just stop at 10 feet. It has no useful, the best, most concentrated ranges within that range. The same thing with at 12 hours and 1 minute, it doesn't become completely useless. But yeah, to get the most benefit, you're going to want to use it within 12 hours, and not even just within 12 hours. The sooner you can drink it from when you inform it, the better, within a couple minutes or an hour or two. So just keep that in mind, that the sooner the better.
You use the analogy. Does any of you guys have glow in the dark stuff? Anybody ever seen the glow in the dark stuff, right? What happens when you take a glow in the dark something, whatever it is, and you put it against light, it charges, and then you turn the lights off and you see it's glowing, and then slowly it depletes, right? There's a rate of change, in other words. Depending on the glow in the dark apparatus, how much photon storage area there is, will determine the rate of change. So look at it that way. Same thing, you're charging the water and it's slowly depleting from the beginning. It's just that Healy manufacturers, companies have to put certain parameters on things, so people have a guideline. It's just a guideline. The truth is that water will be charged for infinite time, but it will be a rate of change to where it actually never becomes zero ever again, but it's getting smaller and smaller all the time. Okay. What else do we got here? Some more kudos for customer service. Thanks, Izzy. Appreciate that. Henry's feeling the love. I love it. He's saying thank you to all you guys. So, all right. What else we got?
We are caught up.
We're caught up. And we have 6 minutes left.
No.
All right, Jake. Well, so how was your weekend?
It was great. My birthday was yesterday. So
happy birthday. Come on, you guys. Give some love. Happy birthday. Another June.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're pretty close in birthdays.
Yeah. Like 2 weeks or so, right? 2 or 3 weeks.
I was earlier in the month. So yay. And by the way, birthdays are awesome celebration. Can you use your Healy to support your birthday? Yes. How do you do it? Well, I use the heart chakra. Why? Because that's where all the love is, right? It's like, I love that heart chakra program because it really energizes that center of us the center of us, which is all about love, care, passion, by the way. The heart center is also a lot to do with our passion for life. So running that heart chakra program is a great one. There's also one which is in the soul cycle called Happy. Right? That's a good one. All right. Next question from Kim. Where do I find the info on Jan F replays for Healy Deep H webinars? Good question, honestly. Did we post anything in the Team Healy USA?
I don't think we.
If you go, so just a test here. I don't know for sure and answer that question. We could see what we can find, but if you go to the Team Healy USA Telegram page and under the search bar, just type in deep cycle and see what comes up. If there's any training in there, because anything that was ever published around deep cycle will be there. I just cannot recall right now where any of that training is. Another thing you can do is you can go to maybe the Facebook Evolve page. And again, within that search bar up, on the Facebook pages, you can also search, and you can search deep cycle, and all posts that have something to do with deep cycle could be there. Or you can put deep cycle H as a more specific search parameter. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Someone mentioned you can find it on YouTube. So I haven't looked specifically for that video, but that could be.
Yeah, I haven't either. There is some good training out there. And as the US trying to create a storage space, YouTube's been Jake has done a great job of having that YouTube page and putting as much content as we can, but we didn't start that. That wasn't started till what, just a little over a year ago, right?
Yeah. There is it's not the webinar, but there is a deep cycle 2.5 minute long commercial video that's on the Vimeo page that has some information about deep cycle. It's not a detailed webinar, if that's what you were looking for, though.
Right. Okay. Kim asked, what is the Europe website? I'm not sure if you're talking about the Healy website for like your account. I mean, you can actually go to the shop page for Europe.
Yeah, it's eu.healy.shop. So instead of us.healy.shop, it's eu.europe. Sorry, eu.healy.shop. And then also, if you're looking for the global, let's say, YouTube page, instead of Healy World Americas on YouTube, it's just Healy World Official on YouTube. And you can find that there. And they post a lot of the global videos on that page as well.
Yeah, some good resources there. Let's see. Okay, lightning round. Here we go. 1 minute left. So Lindley says that you can find the deep cycle training on YouTube. Okay. On the general YouTube. So imagine, like Jake was saying, if you search via the deep cycle H or something like that. Yes, for Healy on. Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. Anybody have any questions? Jake just put the link on there for Vimeo for that, some videos there. That channel, the Healy World Vimeo channel has like what, 200 and some videos. I don't know. There's a lot. Different languages, of course, but a lot of resources. Okay, guys. Anything you want to add, Jake? I think we're at the end.
No, just join us tomorrow on What's Up Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and then join us Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time for Healy for Beginners and Beyond. And don't forget to register in advance for that call just by going to healyfbb.com.
Yay. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. So much appreciate you. The reason we're here is because you're here. So if this was of value to you, please invite a friend next time. Or if there's a question that someone might pose to you, have them come here. It's better to teach someone how to fish than to provide them a fish, right? So let's let's teach people how to find these resources. And here we are. All right, guys, have a great night. See you all next time. And from the bottom of my heart, I love you guys. Bye.